The science of mind philosophy is founded on the basis that there is only one life, one creative cause, one infinite good, one God, whatever name you call it. That is the very fundamental truth, that there is only one, and out of this one, all things are brought forth. That everything is of this one power, this one source. And this one is fundamentally and universally good. That there is infinite good that continues to move through us, express as us, have its life as us. For the life that we live is the expression of this universal life energy. That is the very basis of this philosophy. And this one continues to pour its infinite good in and through and as our lives. And we experience this good through our thoughts, through our beliefs, through our emotions, and through our perceptions. And it continues to flow through us in each and every moment. For we are always expressing this one in our own unique, individualized way. And the way we see things, the way we perceive things, the way we believe things, consciously or subconsciously, is the way that this good flows through our lives. As we perceive life, we receive life. And that is the way it works. Well, if there is this universal infinite good, and we are all connected to the one source of this good, how much of this universal good can we have in our lives? Well, Ernest Holmes says we can have as much good as we can embody. And our embodiment of that good is the sum total of what we think, what we feel, what we emote, what we believe. And that could be in the very conscious level, or that could be on the subconscious level. That we, in essence, take this universal life energy that is good, that continues to flow in and through us. And through the way it flows through our thoughts, our perceptions, our emotions, is the way we see the world. And that's the way it works in our life. But again, the power of this philosophy is not knowing that. I mean, that's part of it. But really, the power of this philosophy is the embodiment of it, is the practice of it. That I can say we can have as much good as we can embody, and yet we're walking around in our life experiencing something other than good, whatever that is, in whatever aspect of life that is. And so the key is to really not only know how it works, but bring it into practice in our own life. So I have a question for you, and I want you to really think about it. How much good can you embody in your life? How much good can you truly embody in your life? My guess is that each of us have a certain amount of good that we can embody. And I know this in the practice of my own life and in the teaching of this philosophy out in the world, that we each have a capacity for good, if you will. And that capacity for good in whatever area of life that is for you is our thoughts, emotions, beliefs, perceptions. And sometimes we can be experiencing good and content, and everything is going well in our life. But yet we know that, there's got to be something that trips us up along the way. There's got to be some drama that happens. I know, I hear it in my own self sometimes when life is going really, really great for me. And then all of a sudden I think, wow, it's getting really great. And then all of a sudden here comes this drama. I'm tripped up by something. And then that good I was feeling, then I was feeling so good, goes back to what I'm used to feeling. And then my life just becomes the way it is. And it works the other way as well. That I have a set comfort of good. And that when I am not experiencing it, I then create situations that bring more good into my life so I can get back to living the amount of good, my own capacity for good. And that's the way Spirit works through me, is through how much good I can embody. But now that I know this, I recognize and realize that I am in charge of how much good comes through my life. I then have the ability to change it. I have the ability to increase my capacity for good. You see, every perception I have, every belief I have, every thought I have, every time I try to define something, I have capped my good, because by the very nature, I've put a limitation on it, some words around it. And then that's how much good I can embody. However, I know that as I become aware of this, aware of how this universal life energy is flowing through me, as I could become conscious of it, as I can become a listener and an observer of my thoughts and behaviors, I then recognize that I can be at choice, that I can choose to expand my capacity for good. And I must say that this is more than just saying it, because a lot of times we've put limits on ourselves, or we have beliefs that limit us in some way that are below our conscious mind, our subconscious, that we are not aware of them. So we can use this philosophy then to expand our mind and our thoughts, and also begin to bathe our subconscious in the truth, so that begins to shift and change as well. So how is it that we can raise our capacity for good? How is it that we can put this philosophy into practice now that we know how it works in our lives, so that we can expand our experience of good in the world? Well, I have two practices for you this week, because what I know is that what we focus on expands. That if we start to focus on our good, it becomes more prevalent in our life. We begin to see it more and more. And then we can raise our capacity for good, and then experiencing good, more good, becomes our norm. And we can then experience the fruits of experiencing good, which are joy and happiness, and perhaps bliss, or fun and laughter and play. That's when we know that we're experiencing good, because we experience those things and we experience more freedom. Freedom to choose, freedom to be, freedom to allow more good to flow through our lives, because it is always flowing through our lives anyway. So how do we do this? 2 things I want you to practice this week. One is I want you to begin to affirm your good. That whenever you see good happening in your life, affirm it. Wow, I really trusted what that person said. I affirm that I trust that Spirit is flowing through me perfectly. I affirm that I found this parking space. I affirm that I received unexpected income. I affirm that I trusted myself to push myself beyond my comfort zone, and I was rewarded for it. Whatever it is, just begin to affirm your good wherever you see it. I affirm my good that someone that I didn't know just smiled and made my day. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it's big or grand or small, just start seeing it now. Because that begins to naturally expand our good. And the second thing I want you to do is I want you to become aware of what good feels like to you. And this one is important because a lot of times we can identify right away when we're not feeling well, right? We know when we're not feeling good because it doesn't feel good. But this week, I want you to take note of what good feels like. So as you are affirming your good, I want you to begin to feel it. Where is it you feel it in the body? What words would you ascribe to it? Do you feel like you're expanded in your life? I want you to begin to feel good. And I then, after practice affirming your good and feeling your good, I want you to notice any shifts within yourself, any changes you make in the way you perceive and believe. Begin to notice how good continues to expand in your life. You know, this is the power of this philosophy. That we know the way this universal life energy works. We know the way that God works. We know that good is continuing to flow through our experience. We know it. We feel it. We begin to expand our own capacity for good. We begin to create a life of joy, a life of good that not only rewards us, but hopefully rewards the others in your life as well. So go out, notice, affirm, and feel your good. And recognize that it is continually flowing through you. Always. In all ways. Namaste.